Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hello, hello, hello. Today is Finally Be Friday, hashtag FBF Live. Thank you all for joining me. I am going to get started here in a couple of more minutes. I just want to make sure that we have it shared out to everybody. Shout out to Elizabeth Gabrielle already here and in the chat. If you have not seen her latest video, when you jump off of this live, make sure you head on over there. She's giving you some tips on taking care of those feet, honey, during this quarantine. Self-care, especially because everything is closed. And if it's not closed, I don't know if I'm ready to risk my life right now for some smooth feet. I want to, but I ain't ready to just yet. So as y'all come in, make sure that you hit the like button and you drop down in the chat box and let me know that you're here. And remember that sharing is caring, so you can always share this to your Instagram, your Facebook, your Twitter, your Snapchat, your text messages, or whatever, however you want to share this out. This is going to be a kind of get ready with me live, as well as just sitting here and talking. I got some new products that I have not used on the channel that I do want to definitely use, and I just want to talk with y'all. So it's gonna be a lot more laid back than last week's live was. Yeah, so I hope y'all enjoy it. Make sure, let me know, can you hear me good? Can you see me good? All of those things. Can you hear me? Can you see me? Also, do y'all like my hair? Hold on, let me drop this comment down so you can see. Y'all like my hair? There will be a tutorial of this style coming very soon. I'm gonna try to have it up. I'm gonna try to have it up soon. I'm gonna say that. I ain't gonna give y'all a date because I don't want to, say something and it don't happen. But I'm definitely gonna have a tutorial up on this hairstyle very soon. I did a poll on my community tab. And thank you to all of you that do check out my community tab and respond to the things that I put out there, because y'all are what help facilitate what kind of content that I'm giving you. Hey, Boxing D Killer, shout out to the Patreon in the building. Thank you, Elizabeth. Thank you. So yes, and on the poll in my community tab, I asked, did y'all want to see your next video? Did you want to see a hair video or a makeup video? And people said hair. So this is the style that I decided to do. So it's actually really, really easy. It's an easy style to do. And I'm excited to show y'all this. Also, I asked on my community tab, what did y'all want? What would you all like to discuss today for Finally Be Friday Live? And the topic was motherhood. Which was perfect. I was like, okay, I already have a whole idea what I want to talk about. So that was perfect. I am going to share this out just a little bit more. We're almost ready to start. We are almost ready to start, you guys. And yeah, I have wanted to do a birth story video for a while. It's just I don't know it's just I just have not sat down to film it. I don't know what was up with that. I really don't. But I enjoy my birth story. I enjoy telling my birth story. I enjoy watching people's birth story videos, because everyone's birth, every single birth is different. And it's just interesting to see what people kind of go through and how they prepare and all of those type of things. I also did vlog my entire, I vlogged the last 2 weeks of my birth and then, my actual labor. And I will be showing some of that. This particular video is privated on my page, or not privated, but it's unlisted on my page, because it is a very personal video and I just didn't want it all out, to everybody. But because y'all are on my lives and y'all are my riders, y'all can get to see my video. So I'm excited to show y'all that. I think it's a very beautiful video. I watch it at least once a month. I'm not even gonna lie. It's a little bit crazy. I watched it last week, but it just amazes me how my kid is 8 months now. The boy is 8 months old, and this seemed like just yesterday that I gave birth to him. So I'm all sappy. So I'm all sappy, in other words. All right, I think we're good. I don't see my husband in the chat, so I'm gonna text him because, excuse you. And cheers. Oh, wait, this way. And cheers to everyone. It's funny that I am doing a episode or a live on funny that I'm doing a live on like motherhood and my birth story and all that stuff, and my kid is not even here, you guys. He is with the grandparents. He has been with the grandparents for the past couple days. This is only the second time that I have been away from him for more than a day. And this is the second time that he has spent the night away from the house, but this is the longest he's been away from the house. Like before, he had only spent the night at my sister's house for literally, he was gone for 24 hours. Like that was it. He has been gone since Wednesday, and we're not getting him until Sunday. So this is like a lot. This is a big step for me. I was super anxious. Not because it had nothing to do with his grandparents or anything like that. It's just because, I'm so super attached. I'm breastfeeding. Hey, Siobhan, I see you. I'm super attached. I'm breastfeeding. Like, I just, hey, Cameron. Yes, Siobhan, this is a full emptiness moment. So it's good because, we all need a break sometimes. And I am happy to just have some time in the house with just me and my hubby. But I do miss my baby. I kind of just do want to kiss on his face. So I guess that's also what prompted today's live, because now I get to just talk about my baby and talk about my baby. I am not guaranteeing that I'm going to be on here for the full 3 hours like I normally do, because I am here alone with my hubby. So I do want to enjoy this time, but I did want to, make sure that I came on, because I be wanting to see y'all too. And we are on the road to 5. That is 5,000 subscribers, 5,000 watch hours, and $5,000 generated through the Be Stoked Styling brand. So I thank each and every one of you who have contributed to that in any way, whether that was by sharing me, by commenting, by watching a video, by purchasing something. Shout out to Siobhan Austin. She just got a Be Stoked Styling custom unit, and she was our giveaway winner. Shout out to Elizabeth Gabrielle and Boxing D Killer. Again, Boxing D Killer, Patreon, Elizabeth Gabrielle, one of my YouTube fam who is always supporting and sharing and watching. So all of these things, no matter how big or how small, go to helping me reach my goal. And so I do truly appreciate it. Okay, so I think we can go ahead and get started on the conversation for today. I wanted to tell you all my birth story. I think the last time that I said anything on my channel as it related to my pregnancy might have been my get ready with me video. And I had a get ready with me. I think I was like maybe 30 weeks pregnant at the time. So that was the last time on the channel that I talked about my actual pregnancy. So if you have not seen that video, I might play a little snippet of it for you later. But overall, pregnancy-wise, I had what I would consider to be a decent pregnancy. I did not have morning sickness, didn't throw up. I did have food aversions. I definitely did not like eating for majority of my pregnancy. It's just because like the smell of certain foods or the thought of foods, it made me nauseated. I wouldn't throw up, but it definitely did make me nauseated. So I didn't like food. My skin was horrible. I'm just now getting my skin back together. And I was in school here by myself. My husband was deployed. So it was definitely a lot. When I sit back and think about this last year of my life and just the major changes that I went through, it amazes me how strong I was and how fast everything happened. And I'm proud of myself because I never would have thought, not once, not ever, that I would be essentially spending the majority of my pregnancy kind of alone in a sense. Like, of course, my husband was emotionally there and emotionally supportive, but he was across the world. You know what I'm saying? He was not here from month. He left when I was maybe about, it was right after I was maybe got to 5 months pregnant. I remember I had my gender reveal on Cinco de Mayo, and I had actually got my gender. I got that a little early. I think I found out my gender in maybe like 14, 15 weeks. So by the time I was 20 weeks, my hubby was overseas. And I spent the second half of my pregnancy, you know, by myself, working and in school. That in itself was horrible. My biggest symptom of pregnancy was how fatigued I was. I was always tired. You talk about a nap, honey. I needed a nap for my nap. I needed a nap just when I got up from the nap, because that was a lot. Like, it would be like, okay, I got to eat something, and now I need a nap. Okay, I'm going to try to clean a little something. Okay, now I need a nap. I was so tired all the time, and I don't think people understand, like being pregnant, like creating a whole human is a lot of work on your body that you don't even realize. Elizabeth, you said you wanted watermelon. Girl, I didn't even have any cravings like that. I think I was definitely craving sweets. Like, I did want sweets all the time. That might have been the only thing that I could say I craved, like chocolate and sweets. And I'm not even like a dessert type of person, so that was definitely different. But yeah, people don't tell you how much work creating a little human is. It was definitely a lot, and your body goes through so many changes that, like, you just don't even know. And some of the stuff, honestly, I should have done this birth story video a lot earlier, because a lot of the things you just forget. And I think that's the grace that God gives us, because if you remembered every little thing from your pregnancy, you wouldn't have multiple children. I promise you wouldn't. I just remember feeling like, when will this be over? And which is actually a very selfish way to think, because you definitely have women out there who are like, I have a friend who is unable to carry her children to full term at this point. At least that's what it seems like. She's had 2 kids who have both been grossly premature. Like, when I say like grossly premature, I mean like 24, 25. Like, no, I think one was maybe like 28 weeks. And then the other one might have been like 25. Like, she's been like supremely premature with her kids. And so it is a very selfish thought to be like, oh my God, when is this over? But to be, being honest, that's how you feel. That's how you feel when you're going through it. I was definitely blessed to be able to have my husband home for the actual birth, and that was a thing in itself, which I will get into in a second. But that was one of my biggest fears at the end of my pregnancy, especially because the military was acting kind of cuckoo. A lot of times, like, mainstream people, like the normal civilian world, don't understand how much activity the military does on a day-to-day basis. Sometimes we're completely, as civilians, can be completely oblivious to what's even really going on. So that was scary to me, and all of that just had kind of played a role. And then at the end of my pregnancy, which caused a little bit of anxiety and a little bit of worry. But overall, I do think I still handled it well. And then on top of that, right, the general public just don't know a lot of what's going on, right? And overall, I think I did try to handle that well. I stopped working in the salon in September, and the boy was due in October. So I did have a month and a half to just kind of get myself together. I'm very blessed to say that I was able to do that, because I know there are a lot of women who work up until the time they give birth, and I am blessed enough to say that I have not been back to the salon since giving birth. I've been able to, work from home or, do other things in order to generate money. So I'm happy about that. I'm trying to think what else. I was in school, or I'm still in school, like y'all know, working on my master's. So that was stressful, having to write, a 5-page paper a week when I was literally physically exhausted. It was a lot. It was taxing mentally, but I still got A's in my classes, so I was handling it fine. I just will tell you that being pregnant and being in school and working is not an easy task at all. And I salute any and everyone who is out there grinding and doing it on their own, especially if you're doing it on your own. I'm blessed to have had some support, but if you're out here doing it on your own, you are the real MVP. So before I continue, I just want to give a shout out to all of the mothers out there, because this is a thankless job. It's what we sign up to do, and I would not change being a mom for anything, surprisingly, because I have never been like, how as a little girl, you'll have a lot of little girls say, when I grow up, I want to be a mother. That was never my testimony. I'm not going to say I never wanted to be a mother, but I'm not going to say I never wanted to be a mother, but it's never been a priority of mine. It was always just like, if I end up pregnant, if my husband get me pregnant, then that's what it is. But, as far as me having that want and that urge and that desire to be a mother, that was never my testimony. And I'm thankful that the Lord was able to bless me with the child, with the boy, because he has definitely changed my life. And like Siobhan saying, mom beast mode is a whole nother level. Like, it was something about having him that just sent me and sent my work ethic and sent my everything into like overdrive almost instantly. And so for me, that has been the blessing of having my kid, because I don't think that, hey Silky, I think that's the blessing of me having my kid, because I don't think that as ambitious as I've always been, as motivated as I've always been, it was like when I had him, it sent me to a whole nother level, and I'm seeing real growth and real change because I have to do it for him. You know what I'm saying? It gives me a whole new sense of purpose, and that's definitely a blessing. Let me turn this ringer off, y'all. That's rude. That's so rude. Okay. All right. So, really quick, I'm going to show y'all a little bit of my birth vlog. This is very vulnerable for me, you guys. I'm not even going to lie. Let me pull it up. While I'm pulling it up, at this point, I was right there at the end of my pregnancy. The boy was due October 16th. Hey Chanel, shout out to Chanel, a new mom. The boy was due October 16th, and I was over it at this point. Again, like I told y'all, I was fat, I was uncomfortable. Y'all ain't told me I look like that. And I had a doula, and my doula was really, really amazing. She was great because I feel like with her help, I was able to begin to mentally prepare myself for the act of birth, because as we all know, birth is not an easy thing. Birth is a painful thing. And if you focus on the pain, if you focus on the discomfort of giving birth, it makes it worse, in my personal opinion. I I was not unmedicated. I did have a medicated birth. However, I did not have epidural. I used the IV meds. I can't think of the name of the medication, but they're IV pain meds. Now, let's be clear. To be honest with you, it probably still was kind of unmedicated because the IV meds only last for so long, and I was in labor for so long, you guys. So before I even get into that, I'm going to show y'all a quick little clip of my birth vlog. I'll probably end up skipping through a few pieces just because I was very candid in this birth vlog. And while everything was tastefully done, you know, there's a few things that I will skip past. I'll leave that just for like the family.
Hi, here I am. It is October 13th, my mommy's birthday, 2:10 in the morning, because I have been a night owl for the past week, staying up at least until 4 and 5 o'clock easily. I am officially 39 weeks and 4 days. So, Cairo is as big as a honeydew melon. And at this point, I am just tired of being pregnant. Okay, let's just start there. I'm tired. He is head down. I was just trying to belly map, so I've been drawing on my tummy, trying to see if I can kind of feel exactly where he is. So I'll bring the camera down. First of all, I'm huge, but his head is all the way down. It's like down here, and I can feel up my belly, and it gets a little looser there. So he's kind of like a little bit curved, and his butt's somewhere up in here. Where did it go? I just had it. There it is. There's his booty. So his butt is up here.
I was so huge.
His butt is all the way. He's pushing back. He doesn't like when you push on him. If you push on him, he's going to push back. So he's all the way down. I feel like he's already in the optimal birthing position. So at this point, I just want him to come out. My last appointment was today's Sunday. So my last appointment was on Tuesday when I was 37 weeks and 6 days. 38 weeks and 6 days. At that point, I was not dilated at all. My cervix was completely closed. I don't know if there's a change. I don't go back to the doctor until Wednesday. So I'm hoping to get this ball rolling before Wednesday, which is my due date. I'm hoping to just go ahead and have him coming on out. So I've been on YouTube. I've been doing exercises, squats, I've been walking, been doing pelvic rotations.
None of that worked, by the way.
The main thing is he's where he's supposed to be. And I don't know if y'all can see him. He just moved.
He came when he wanted to.
His booty just moved over here. I don't know if y'all can see the lopsidedness. It's hard to catch on camera. Let me see if I can come from this angle. When you come from up angle, it's a little easier. Where'd he go? Y'all see, can you see how it pokes out over here on this side? He's kicking back. He's like, Mama, leave me alone. It's 2 in the morning.
You see how he's moving? That was always the most amazing.
Moving. You see him moving.
Hold on.
Here's his booty.
Over here. That was the most amazing thing to me. When I was pregnant, it was like sitting there and seeing him move around and seeing what you feel is the weirdest thing to explain. A lot of times people say, you know, it feels like butterflies and stuff. Now, at this point, it feels like he's kicking you for real. The way he was turned, he would be kicking my ribs. He would be, I couldn't breathe. So that's all that's all of that not wanting, not wanting to be pregnant no more. And yes, he did stay in position until his birthday. He stayed right there. In the video, you see me doing like this because what he used to do is just like his head was down, down, but he would just kind of roll from one side to the next. So if at one time his butt would be over here, then his butt would be over here, and he'd just be kicking me from one side to the next. And he was very, very active. My baby is very active even to this day. Hey, me, he's very active. So he's been this way his whole life.
The word so that he can try to get back here. Hopefully he will be able to make it to the hospital, at least while I'm still in the hospital. I'm not super optimistic about him actually making it to the birth, but I hope he'll at least get to see us like in the hospital,
I will say that me not being optimistic about him making it to the actual birth was good for me, because I would rather, how what the saying is, prepare for the worst and hope for the best. That was my mindset throughout the majority of my pregnancy, just because I did not want to be disappointed. And there is a point in here that y'all don't get to see, but I'll talk about it, where I was very, very disappointed. And yeah.
Intense anxiety. And that was a couple of weeks ago. And I think it was more so because at that time I was still doing my classes, and I wanted to make sure that I finished my final paper before he came. So once all that was done, my anxiety was lifted. I'm not fearful of labor. I mean, I know that it's going to be a lot, like everyone says, intense. I know it's going to be intense. I know, it's not going to be a pleasant feeling, but I don't want to think pain, because I'm really trying to get it really in my head about this whole thing.
And I think that was I think that was what it was important for me during my labor, was to definitely get in my head. So I guess that would be the only the tip that I could give people who are pregnant and stuff like that. It's don't stress yourself out about what labor is going to feel like. Don't get fearful about it, because all that does is send that to your body, and then it becomes like a self-fulfilling prophecy, and you don't want that. You want to definitely, when you are giving birth, you want to be as relaxed as possible, because the more relaxed you are, the more your body can do what it is made to do. And we have to remember that our bodies are made to give birth. Now, they are made to go through labor, and so the way is just if you're stretching, and essentially that's what your body is doing. It's stretching itself out to a level that it's never been in order to get the baby through the birth canal. So just like if you're stretching when you're exercising, if you are sitting there and you're tense and you're holding your breath, you'll never be able to reach your flexibility goals. You have to release. And that was the main thing that I had to continue to remember, and that I was mentally preparing myself for. So when it came to me getting ready for labor, that's what I was doing for weeks ahead of time, just mentally preparing myself. All right, let's go back to the video.
Trying to go as unmedicated as possible. So in order to do that, I have to train my brain. So I have been training my brain. As a matter of fact, I guess I can show y'all. I guess I can show what I've been doing.
And so to train my brain, I used affirmations. I got these affirmations from my doula, and I would say them. I started saying them almost nightly, right there in the end of my pregnancy. But I did, start saying them, I know, at least every few days, like starting at about 6 months.
I try to say them often. So you see, it says things like, I trust that my body knows exactly what it's doing. I'm excited to give birth to my baby. I'm deserving of an easy, uncomplicated birth. I visualize my baby moving gently through the birth canal. I visualize an easy, peaceful, joyous, and pleasurable birth. And these are just some things that I say to myself as I'm, preparing. So these are things that I've been saying to myself as I am preparing for labor. Again, just wanted to kind of vlog it.
And y'all know I don't normally do a whole lot of vlogging on my channel. So this was different. It was fun though. I enjoyed it. If y'all follow my backup channel, which is Busy Bee Buzz Topics, I will be kind of revamping that channel a little bit more, and that one will probably have a little bit more of vlogging from my family. But this channel, of course, is always going to be, beauty, business, and brand type of things. But if you do want to see more vlog type videos, be on the lookout, because I will be revamping my backup channel and trying to do more on that channel with my family, because I do think that it's important for us to have videos and have things like that we can look back on. I love this video. It might have 70 something views, and I know I viewed it 20 times. So yeah.
This belly in the screen, but yeah. Cairo has been moving around a little bit today. I walked around the neighborhood for about 35-40 minutes.
And I think this was the day before my due date.
I didn't do any squats today. I did a whole bunch of squats and stuff yesterday, so I woke up kind of sore today, so I didn't do any squats today. I painted my nails, some fresh nails. Been drinking my tea, and found out Cliff bought his ticket, so he leaves at 10 o'clock a.m. our time, which is 5 o'clock p.m. his time, and he'll arrive here in Fayetteville Wednesday at 3 p.m. My next doctor's appointment is Wednesday at 10 a.m. So, hopefully everything is gonna be fine. And
so this is the part where I was talking about, where I kind of had a little bit of a breakdown that y'all did not get to see. So I'll go ahead and give y'all a little bit of a backstory, because at this point, I was super excited. I'm like, yay, my hubby got his ticket. He's gonna be here. He's gonna be here for the birth. Cairo made it to his due date. So yay, y'all. So because he's military, he did not take his passport, because he flies military planes. He flies on the military planes. Well, because he was coming home for this and not for military reasons, he needed a passport to come out of a certain the airport that he bought his ticket out of. So he was not able to get on his flight to come home, the ticket that we bought. He was not able to get on the flight. So I was freaking out. First of all, it was just what do you mean? Imagine it being the day before your due date, and he's at the airport, he's there. I'm excited. I'm like, yay. And he calls and is like, I can't get on the plane. So I literally had a full-on breakdown. I did not record that, y'all. It was not finna see me out here snotty nose and crying. But I did have I had a terrible breakdown. But we were able to get him a ticket, or he was able, because I didn't do anything but sit up here and completely have a meltdown. But he was able to get a ticket from a different airport that did not require him to show a passport. He was able to just kind of show his military orders and things like that. And he was able to get home, although it was later than we wanted it to. He was able to get home, so I was definitely happy about that.
Still very much so.
I felt like I was getting bigger by the day. Is it just me?
And as you can see, he is low. He is sitting down here. He is, yeah. I went to the doctor today. I am still not dilated. My cervix is still very much so closed. But it's fine. Cliff is on his way home. He is literally on the plane as we speak. There was a little hiccup with his tickets on yesterday, so I was very upset.
I cried a lot, very upset.
But you know, God is good because he is on the plane now. He will be here tomorrow evening. So when I do my update, he should be in the video with me tomorrow. And once he gets here, I think Cairo's just waiting on his daddy to get here.
And that's one thing, Cairo did here, what he wanted to do.
Hopefully, you know, like the midwife said, the way you get him in is the way you get him out. So hopefully we can get him on up out of here. Okay? All right. Okay.
What's up, Oak Cliff?
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
You sit here with, you know, with your beautiful wife, Big Brittany.
Oh my gosh.
Can we zoom this thing up?
Yeah, he move it right here.
Okay.
Big Brittany. Okay.
Okay. Sheesh. Cairo, look what you doing to mommy. Cairo, look what you doing to mommy.
I ain't have no booty. I still ain't got no booty. I still ain't got my butt back, y'all.
He's been picking on me all day.
I still ain't.
But Daddy is here. It is Friday, the what? 18th?
Yeah.
Friday the 18th. I am officially 40 weeks and 2 days pregnant. 3 days. 40 weeks.
And if y'all been pregnant, you know, man, them days, you be all on them days. You be like, I am 32 weeks and 6 days pregnant. Honey, because especially down here at the end, every single day matters, okay? Every single day matters. Every day that you still pregnant is a day that you are uncomfortable.
First of all, I'm going to drink the midwife brew tomorrow. Daddy doesn't want me to drink it till tomorrow night for some reason. He wants me to go to labor at night. So he can just be up all night with me going through labor, I guess. I don't know. And yeah, you're coming up out of here tomorrow, daggone it. I mean that. I mean that. We getting this ball rolling. Daddy, do you have any words?
So at this point, I was like, the eviction is upon us, honey. Your daddy's home. You can get gone up out of here. I want my body back. So I had planned on drinking the midwife's brew. If y'all have not heard about it, basically it's like a tea, and it has castor oil, apricot juice, and a few other things I don't remember. But basically what it is that castor oil makes your uterus start to contract, and then go ahead and starts getting things going for you to have the baby. And castor oil is also good, you know, like as a what is that? What is that? What's the name? Laxative. There it is. I couldn't think of the name of it. Castor oil is also kind of like a laxative, so that's why you have a few other things in there to kind of ease it, because it could become really painful and uncomfortable if you just drink castor oil by itself. So I had all the ingredients. My homegirl, I had a friend Lisa. She had me and her were pregnant together. Like, we was in this thing together, and she had her baby in July. And so she had brought over everything I needed to mix up the midwife's brew, because I meant that I was going to get him on up out, especially since Cliff was already home. But I didn't have to do that. So that night, me and Cliff went to sleep. We did what we needed to do to try to get the things rolling. Like I said, the doctors say how you get them in is how you get them out. Y'all know what I'm saying. And so then at 5 a.m., which was Saturday, 5 a.m. that Saturday, my contractions started. And when they started at like about 10 minutes apart, like immediately. It wasn't like, you know how people were like, oh, well, they started off and it was like, maybe I didn't know if it was a contraction because it was like an hour away and this and the third. No, I knew it was a contraction, period. I knew it. It felt like the way that the contraction pain, for those of you who do not know, hey Karosi, hola. So the way that contraction pains work is like they build. So it's like even before it starts hurting, you can feel it coming. It just starts to build up on you, and then it's the climax of the contraction, and then you feel it kind of starting to taper off. So it was the way that the pain came in and went off that made me know for sure that it was actual labor pains and not Braxton Hicks. Because Braxton Hicks contractions for me felt like needles in my stomach, and I don't know if that's how they were supposed to feel. I never heard, like, people used to say, oh, Braxton Hicks were uncomfortable, but they never hurt. Mine hurt. That's bull. I don't know who was talking about it didn't hurt. They hurt me. It felt like someone stabbing my stomach with little needles. And so this particular, when my actual labor started, those contractions was not like that. It was a completely different pain.
Videotaping this
because you should have did it yesterday.
You should do that.
Those October 19th.
Girl, say you know that pain. Yes, girl.
8 o'clock in the morning. Technically 7:58 in the morning. I have been having contractions since about 3.
Oh, 3 in the morning. Oh, I'm sorry.
They are now about 3 to 4 minutes apart. There's one right there.
So that was also something that was different for my birth that like you don't hear a lot. My contractions, like I said, they came in consistently from the beginning. I have talked to a lot of people where they were like, oh, well, it was 30 minutes. It was every 30 minutes and things like that. No, mine started off every 10 minutes from 3 in the morning. And then this was like whatever time I said, 8, let's say 8 in the morning. By that point, they were consistent. You know what I'm saying? And this was just day 1 of my labor. So yeah, I was not expecting that. I was expecting, especially because they were coming so consistently, I just knew that I was gonna, that everything was gonna move quickly. So at this point, I had already called my mom. She was on her way from Georgia. He was getting stuff together because the dogs y'all see this. He was setting up the crate so that they could have somewhere to stay.
It's Saturday. You expect me to be going through contractions for 2 days?
Well, today, Mr. Mom.
And your point? Are you telling me the Eagles are more important?
Little did I know.
Than giving birth to your son?
You can come if you want to come, but if you want to wait a couple days, I ain't mad at it.
See how your daddy does? I'm excited and ready to see you. He's talking about a damn football game. Mm-hmm. Well, I will check in shortly.
It's my mommy.
And you can hear me too?
Yes, mother. Mama, say hello to your grandbaby.
Hello, Cairo.
Oh, God.
Oh,
God. I cannot.
I'm here. I'm ready to get this party on the road. So we will have a baby today.
Yes.
What is it? December?
No, October.
I mean,
Come on,
October
all
20th.
With the
19th.
date, she ain't know
I
what
ain't know
day
what
it
day.
was. She was just happy to be here.
October 19th.
It's his birthday. So let's get this show on the road.
All right. It is officially what time? 12:57.
Okay.
12:57. I'm in here.
So I'm gonna give you, Cairo, about 5 hours to the most.
5 more hours.
5 to the most.
That means things gonna pick up quickly.
Yeah, so we need to get the
I
show on the
wish.
road.
Things will pick up quickly. Clifton, have any words?
I'm gonna see you tomorrow night.
No, not tomorrow.
No, they gonna be tomorrow night.
After the game.
So
Whatever.
this is really nice. I like it. So the changing table and all this little stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Did y'all buy this one or?
So that's where Cairo sleeps now. He still sleeps in his pack and play, you guys. Of course, he don't have the top part no more, but that's where he sleeps, honey, because it's comfortable and he's cool with it. And so again, at this point, I was very disillusioned. I'm thinking, okay, well, my contractions are coming, consistently. And so we are totally going to be having a baby. I've already called all the grandparents. I let them know, hey, this baby's coming. Hey, I'm gonna be done with this thing. Child, no. Okay, no. No. No.
You know, Daddy was right per usual. Remember that when you get older. So, Auntie Mercedes said she ain't ready to go. Let me go ahead and show you, Mommy. Mommy's been giving Daddy fits.
So this was Sunday morning. It was like maybe 7 or something in the morning. It was super, super early. By this point, again, my contractions were still like 3 and 4 minutes apart. So I'm like, okay, I've been dealing with this for 24 hours. Let's go ahead and go to the hospital, because they tell you to come to the hospital when your contractions are like 3 to 4 minutes apart. So I'm like, all right, let's do it.
All that. All right. So it's 7:20? 7:20. And we are getting packed up. We're gonna go to the hospital. And there's a contraction.
All right, Cairo. Till next time, dude.
That felt so good. Like a good deep squat. Just opens everything up. And by so good, I mean, I'm even feeling pain, but it really
That's probably more.
This button.
You just not gonna, once he come, and I'm just gonna be so amazed. It's gonna be a different feeling compared to your children, and just a different experience. So I'm waiting on it. Excited.
Quick note, y'all. I'm sorry if y'all hear knocking and stuff. We have people outside painting the shutters and stuff on my house. So I'm sorry if you hear that. I apologize.
Welcome. I can't wait. I'll see him as much as I can. And you right here to spoil it.
You say they swear ain't gonna let her touch him.
She not. I already know I have several dreams that she is not gonna let me hold her. She gonna be so attached.
Nah, she got a wedding to go to or something.
And I said maybe that'll be my time to finally spend some time with her. Because otherwise I'm be treated like a step auntie.
Shut up.
By the time I seen him, he was what, 6 months old?
Yeah.
Wow.
When you supposed to come back?
March and May.
March.
Somewhere either between March and May.
But one good thing.
And
y'all.
actually, the boy was 7, almost 8 months when my husband came home from deployment, you guys. Yeah. So the deployment was extended. All of this was a big difference for us. Hey, Mila's mine. Okay, so I didn't put any of the rest of this in the video. So I'm going to tell y'all about it real quick. Before I do, I want to give a special shout out to Mila's Mind, because she was the person who suggested I talk about motherhood and things like that. So this video has a special shout out to you. If you don't follow her, make sure you go over there, follow her on the YouTube. So we went to the hospital. As y'all can see, me, my mom, my sister, and hubby. And I was literally told, you know how you're in triage and stuff. I'm all excited. I'm like, okay, I should have known that I was not ready to give birth, because I actually walked into the hospital. I walked into the labor and delivery unit. Yeah, I walked in there. So you should have known then, girl. No, you can still sit up here and freely chill and walk in there with no assistance and stuff like that. You should have known better. So I got in the triage. I'm all excited. They take me in the back and they hook me up to all of the stuff to measure, the contractions. And I remember the nurse was like, I can see your stomach tightening. How bad are your contractions on a scale of 1 to 10? I was like, oh, they're like a 4. It's like, they're like a 4. And she was like, a 4? And she was like, her face was like, a 4? As if, I don't know, like her face was like shocked or something. I remember that. And she was just like, I heard her tell the other nurse she's doing really well, because I can see her stomach tightening. So she's doing good. So I was like, okay, you're doing good, girl. Okay, you're going to be able to do this. Then the doctor comes in to check everything. Before what prompted me to decide that it was time to go to the emergency room, or not emergency room, but to go to the hospital, was because Sunday morning at maybe like I decided to go at like 7 or something in the morning. Maybe around 4 or 5 in the morning, my mucus plug fell out. So for those of you who don't know what a mucus plug is, it's basically like it's what it sounds like. It's a plug of mucus that seals the cervix. So when that comes out, that lets you know that the cervix is opened and opening and is dilating. So my mucus plug had came out. My mucus plug had came out and everything. So I'm like, okay, I know my cervix dilating. Okay, I feel like we should be able to go in here and get this ball rolling. I was only 1 centimeter dilated, you guys. When they checked me and said I was 1 centimeter dilated, my heart, like the pain in my heart was worse than the pain in my uterus. Like my heart dropped to my butt. Like I was so sad. I was like, what do you mean I'm 1 centimeter dilated? I've been going through this for 24 hours at this point, and I've only gotten to 1 centimeter? 1 centimeter? Y'all have no idea. My whole spirit broke. My whole spirit broke. No exaggeration. So we had to, of course, go home. By this time, I have already called all the other grandparents. So my mother-in-law was on her way from South Carolina. She was like, oh, I'm coming. My mom was here, and the granddads were waiting. Okay. So we go back home. By the time we get released from the hospital and get back to the house, my mother-in-law was basically like pulling up when we were pulling up. And when I walked in, I just wanted to cry. I might have cried. I'm not completely sure. I don't completely remember, but if I didn't cry, I know I wanted to cry, because I just felt like, OMG, why is my body betraying me right now? Why are you betraying me? Now, let me see your comments. I walked in, but they told me to sit down on one of those wheelchairs. LOL. I felt so weird, but I was in excruciating pain the whole way to the hospital in the car. And see, Again, that's why I say I should have known, because y'all seen me in the car. I was very calm. I was, chilling. And I mean, overall throughout the entire labor, I did stay pretty calm. But yeah, I definitely was looking back on it. I'm like, girl, no, you definitely still wasn't ready. Because the way that everything hit you different when you get closer, no. So I get home, and my spirit was broken. And so remember what I was saying to y'all when I was saying, like, I had mentally been preparing myself for labor. I had mentally been preparing myself for labor. But it was something about how disheartened I got after realizing that after being in labor for a full 24 hours at this point, and my cervix had only went to 1 centimeter, it just like broke my spirit, and the pain started hitting different because mentally I was like weakened. And that's why I say too, labor is more mental than physical anything. Labor is way more mental than physical. Like it's way more mental. So it was like that Sunday was the worst day of my labor, because after coming home from the hospital, I was mentally exhausted and defeated. I just felt like my body was betraying me. I felt like it was never going to end. I felt so when the contractions came, I kind of leaned into the pain more. Than like I had been doing the day before. So Sunday was a super rough day for me. And again, my contractions were still coming at this point they did slow up a little bit. So I would say at this point they were coming like every 5 minutes at least. And that was Sunday. Monday came. Now again, I'm going through labor all through the night. And when Monday came, I had kind of like, I had got my mind back together overnight. I had got my mind back together. So what I was doing in the night to try to like relax, I guess, I took a bath. Of course, everyone knows baths are like everything. So I took a little bath, and then me and my husband sat up in the bed and we binge watched Black Panther. And not Black Panther, Black Lightning. We binge watched Black Lightning in the bed overnight. And so by the time Monday morning came, I was in better spirits. I was like, okay, we can do this. So Monday came, my mother-in-law and my mom were there. They cooked. Like, my mom and my mother-in-law were amazing the entire time. They were cooking for me. They were rubbing my back. They were just trying to make sure that I was comfortable. I walked around my backyard because I didn't feel comfortable walking around the neighborhood. So I just like kept walking around in the backyard, trying to squat through the pain. And Monday though, all right, if I'm going to be honest with y'all, I'm going to tell y'all something. I'm going to be honest with y'all. But before I do, let me read these comments, and then I'm going to be very candid with y'all. So Mila said, I think that's new mom things, what you went through. Yeah. Everyone assumes when the water breaks, it's time to go. And my water hadn't even broke at that point. Childbirth isn't a joke. Men could never, ever. They could never. No. Okay, and so that point, men could never, that brings me to Monday. When Monday came, me and my husband butted heads, y'all. We butted heads. Okay? I'ma be real with you. I ain't getting none of this on the camera, because at this point I did not care about filming. I just wanted to get the kid out. But by Monday, now this is day 3 in labor. Technically this would be going into day 3 of labor. Okay, I started labor on Saturday morning. By Monday, and I'm still in labor, clearly my attitude isn't the best. I don't feel like I have to explain that, but I'll explain it. My attitude is not the most positive. I'm not the happiest right now. I don't want to hear any kind of smart remarks. And if you know me, and if you know my husband, we are smart remark type people. And so what had happened was, my husband had bought me some prenatal workout tapes, like early, like literally when he found out I was pregnant. He bought me like prenatal yoga, because when I found out I was pregnant, I was doing yoga a lot. I would do yoga like 3 or 4 times a week. And so when he found out I was pregnant, he bought me some prenatal yoga. He bought me like prenatal workout stuff. And y'all, I told y'all I was tired. I told y'all my nap needed a nap. I wasn't doing no working out. For what? I'm tired. This is workout enough. Those videos were still in the plastic, okay? I was not doing no kind of working out when I was pregnant. So when my husband came home and he saw that those workout videos were still in the plastic, now he got a smart mouth. Now he's like, well, you know, if you did some prenatal yoga, maybe your birth would have been a little bit easier. Your labor would be a little easier. You know, maybe if you had been doing your prenatal yoga, you know, you would have been your body would have been a little bit more prepared for this. Now, that could be true. That's not here or there. But on day 3 of labor, the last thing I want to hear is you telling me what I should have done 3 months ago. We are here now. This is where we are right now. Don't tell me nothing about no prenatal yoga. So, on Monday, me and that man that I love, was on my nerves. He was on my last. If this was my last nerve, he was right there on it. And he was tapping it. Because he kept making little slick remarks about them doggone tapes. Woo. Woo. Okay. I'm trying, because I had got mad. I had got mad by this point. So my friend Lisa, who I told y'all had came over with the midwife's brew ingredients, she had came over and brought me a birthing ball so that I can kind of bounce on the ball and kind of, you know, and that was helpful too. So she brought the birthing ball over and she was just talking to us, and she was like, I was telling her how he was on my nerves at this point. And she was like, okay, well, you know, and she knows my husband. She was like, hey, you know, this isn't helpful for her right now. This isn't constructive for her right now. She just needs support. And I was like, that's it. I just need support, period, point blank. I don't need you to tell me about anything in the past. Okay, yes, I should have been doing prenatal yoga. Sure, why not? This is where we are now. We have to move forward. We have to stay focused on the problem at hand. So she told him that or whatever. And then I decided, you know what? I'm going to go take a shower because, again, y'all know, like, the water just kind of helps ease the pain. So I'm in the shower and I'm like crying. I'm crying. I'm like my spirit's beginning to break again. I'm starting to feel defeated. And then I'm fussing because my husband comes in there and I'm like, I just want you to support me. I don't feel like you're supporting me. Because, like, okay, I might tell him let's say it was Sunday night through the night. I'm like, okay, time my contractions, because it's hard. I can't sit up here and try to time my contractions and try to breathe through my contractions and try not to, you know, break and all this stuff at the same time. So if I tell you to time my contractions, I need you to time my contractions with no lip. Just time them. And my husband got lip. And so by Monday, I was just done. I was just like, I don't feel supported. And you act like it's so hard on you. I'm going through hell over here. And I guess it was something about me in there just like breaking down, crying. He must have felt like ish. And from that point on, he was amazing. He was overly helpful. He was extra amazing at that point. So we did have, man, if someone tells you that them and their significant other don't get into it during labor, then that good for them. But we had to come on common ground because I was not in the mood for it, like at all. Like I was pissed, okay? But after that little breakdown, he was like, okay, well, you want me to wash you? You want me to rub your back? What you want me to do? I'm here. I'm supporting you, and that's all I needed. That's all I wanted. I just wanted support. You know what I'm saying? That's it. So that was the roughness of Monday, Sunday, and Monday. Those were rough days. Monday night, I spent about 3 hours, like Monday going into Tuesday. I spent about 3 hours in the tub. Just like I had a birth playlist on Spotify with like, it had a whole bunch of songs. It had like 100 and something songs. So I just was in the tub. I had my playlist going, and I was just laying in the tub, just trying to be comfortable, trying to relax, and trying to like not break down. So, but it's something about just all that warm water. It kind of helps to ease the pain. So I will say, I still would not do an epidural for my next pregnancy, but I do want to do a water birth. I feel like a water birth would be great. So that's just me and my thoughts on that. Let me read your comments. Mila said, not the words to ever say. Girl, yes. And don't tell me what my body should or shouldn't be doing during this time. Exactly. You have no idea. Mila said, I cursed my boo out at least 2 times in the labor room. And I don't blame you. And no matter what, no matter how supportive your significant other is during labor, no matter how supporting your husband is during labor, there's actually still absolutely nothing that they can do that is really just going to be amazing. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing that they can do, because at the end of the day, you still are going through it. But it's all about wanting to feel that support and feel that love. I want to feel like you are. If I say rub my feet. I don't want lip about it. If I say give me counter pressure. I don't want lip about it. You know what I'm saying? So that's just how I was. Yeah. No, my husband's not a dirtbag. He's a man, and men just don't always understand. But you know better now for the next labor, okay? I still love you, but you know. Mila said, I want to do a water birth too, and even a home birth. I went natural too. I would be down for a home birth. I would be down for a water birth. You know what is crazy? What's crazy is that we're military. And so with the military insurance, me giving birth in the military hospital, everything, I ain't had not one bill. I ain't had to pay 1 red cent. But if I decided to have a home water birth, I would have to come out of pocket $2,000 or $3,000 for a home birth. I think that is psychotic. How does that work? But anyway. So Tuesday at 5 a.m. my water broke. And when my doctor had told me Sunday when I went in, she said, whenever your water break, you can come on in and we'll just keep you. So I got admitted on October 22nd.
Oh, it's open. All right, Brittany, look. Hopefully we're ready to do this thing. Yes.
It's more than ready. Just
Get the daddy coming. Go ahead. So, leak on the floor? No.
So this was me getting checked in at triage, getting admitted. One more thing.
thank you.
On the way to the hospital, we almost got hit by a truck. Okay, literally. I didn't get that on video either. So my husband's driving and he's literally about to turn into the hospital. And so, you know how like you have a light and the light will have green, but it'll have like a yellow flashing arrow. And then you have, you know, oncoming traffic. So we're going, and there was a truck coming, but he was moving super slow. It was like he was slowing down, trying to give us time to turn into the hospital. But then it was almost like as soon as we started to try to turn, it's almost like he sped up. Like my husband had to swerve, the car had to swerve. Like it was like literally, we almost got into a car accident right outside of the hospital. I'm like, can you please not? Can we please make it here safely all the way around? It was, yeah. Mila said, it should be free if you want to do it home. Obviously, minus the fee for the midwife or doula if you choose to have one to assist. Exactly. Yep. But you know how the healthcare system, honey, they want all their money.
You know, Daddy got better judgment than that boy.
I swear, I'm right here.
These are the moms. These are the grandmoms.
Come on, Karen. Ready.
And this is Daddy. Just know, Daddy is a champion throughout all this. B, say something. That's what, you know what I mean. See?
And then that's the picture.
Mm-hmm. You just hope. Do we need the flash?
All right, so by this time I'm in the actual labor and delivery room, and they have given me some of the pain meds. They told me when I got, okay, so in triage, first of all, those beds were the most uncomfortable beds ever. My butt was hurting. I'm going through labor. They had me in there for hours, what felt like forever. And they told me that in order to get the pain meds, they would not do it if I was past 7 centimeters dilated, because the IV medications can make the baby sluggish, and the last thing that you want is to have the baby sluggish, you know, when it's time for them to come out of the birth canal. By the time I was admitted at triage, I was 6 centimeters dilated. So I'm like, okay, well, they said as soon as we get you in the room, we'll order up the meds, we'll get you the pain medication so that you can get them before you hit that 7 centimeter threshold, and we can't give them to you anymore. So that is where we are at this point in the video.
9:30.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
All right, so 9:30 a.m. on October 22nd.
22nd. Still a Libra. I guess.
Still in there.
You're gonna say Libra / Scorpio.
We are about 6 centimeters dilated. I just got the IV pain meds so I can get a little bit of sleep, because we've been at this thing for 3 days. Cairo, because you moving slow. It's all right. We'll get here today. Got all the mamas in the room. My doula's on the way. And I feel a whole lot better now.
And I want to be clear too. The IV medication does not take away all of the pain. I had really, really bad back labor, so it did take away the pain off of my back labor, but I still felt the contractions in the front. They just weren't as intense as the whole time. So the IV meds does not make you numb. It's not painless. You still feel it, but it definitely, it was enough to where I could sleep. It was enough to where I could rest. And it lasted for, I think I said it was like 9 a.m. So the full dose lasted until maybe about 1 or 2 p.m. before all the pain came back full force.
Everybody know you on the way. They coming, granddaddy, everybody looking for you. Love you.
So this is the other grandma, aka Yaya. By this point, my other in-laws are here.
Pyro watch. Waiting on him to appear.
Got anything you want to say to the baby?
Two?
To the baby?
And my
Yeah.
father-in-law,
Need to come on out here.
Jediah.
Can't have much long. I get some Doritos. Remember Doritos?
Yeah.
Baby gonna be spoiled too much. Too much love.
Say, you know,
Showing did.
Yes. Because you gotta get attention. That's why some people have them.
this mommy over here getting TLC with, you know, Miss Shantara.
Peace.
This is my doula. She was amazing.
Great.
She was amazing. So for those of you who have never, who don't know what a doula is, who've never seen a doula, she is basically your birth coach, your champion. She is there specifically for you. She's there for your comfort. My mom was, first of all, all like, what is a doula? That's just a waste of money. Like, why would you do that? Like, you could just do it. No, I say, please do not pay attention to the older generation about everything. Some things change and some things change for a good reason. She was amazing. So once we got in the hospital, once she got there, she had some oils for like aromatherapy, lavender oils, peppermint oils, things that smelled really good to kind of keep me in a nice calm headspace. She was massaging areas that caused me to relax more. She was very motivating. She was there with me through the entire thing. Like, if not for my doula and my husband and their support during this, like, it would have been crazy. My particular doula literally had just had her baby a month before. So when me and her were meeting in the beginning and we were doing like kind of like coaching sessions to get my mind right in order to go, you know, through the labor process, she was pregnant with, I think, either her sixth or seventh child. So she was great, you know what I'm saying, to like kind of get, and she did her last 3 births unassisted at home. So I felt extremely comfortable with her, and she had such a calm presence about her that I could not get riled up. She was just like super calm, super just like mellow, and she was just great. She was amazing. If you have never had a doula, if you've never gotten a doula and you plan on having more children, I would definitely say look into doula services. It was very important for me to find a Black doula. So here in North Carolina, there's not a whole lot of Black doulas, but the majority of them in my area are a part of like a group. They're a part of a group, and they take care of like this whole area, Fayetteville, Raleigh, Chapel Hill, this like area of North Carolina here, and they're very well educated. My doula was also a lactation consultant. I also got my placenta encapsulated, so she did the encapsulation of my placenta. So I still have some of those pills. I took most of them, and we can talk about that in a little bit. She gave me advice on breastfeeding, and she also gave me a painting from my placenta, so I'm gonna show it to y'all. This is the painting from my actual placenta that she did for me. So if you are in the North Carolina area, make sure you look up Divine Doula Goddess. She is amazing. I totally would recommend her. So, yeah. Miss, I never had a doula, but I definitely would get one for baby number 2. I completely suggest it. Oh, but one more thing. Doulas are not midwives. Doulas do not actually deliver the baby. They are just there for assistance and for support. They are your support team. They do not replace the need for an actual midwife. Now, you have some midwives or nursing practitioners who are also certified doulas, so you can look into that as well. But they do not replace an actual midwife, OB, or healthcare professional. So right here, I'm on the birthing ball, bouncing it out, getting monitored, all that great stuff. I can't remember this nurse's name, but she was really, really funny. I took some like childbirth classes with her. She's very blunt. She's very honest, and I really liked her as my nurse. But because we are in the military hospital, you don't get to choose your nurses, and they change out shifts. So I did not have her. I only had her as my nurse for maybe about 3 hours, I think, before they switched to another nurse. So you see again, Shantara, she's just massaging my back. And again, I had very, very intense back labor, which I expected because I already have pain back there anyway.
My bad, parents.
Oh my goodness.
Ain't even postpartum yet.
Thank God he's going back to the desert.
He said this is the position that got us in trouble.
And you said
So
this
what
is
he's doing
sharing
now
energy.
is when he lifts the baby up with the cloth, that takes a lot of the pressure that you feel. Hold on, let me mute this. It takes a lot of the pressure off of you. Your stomach feels really, really heavy, of course. So it kind of releases some of that pressure that you're feeling in the front. And then how he's pushing on me, pushing on my back, that's called counter pressure. So if you think about, let me do this. So if you think about the cervix and you think about your butt bone, when you're pushing against it, it's kind of opening it up just a little bit. Y'all get what I'm saying? So a lot of times when I was going through the contractions, I would tell him that I need counter pressure, and what that would do is kind of help the cervix to open a little bit more and help the contractions do a little bit more, help the baby come down into the cervix a little bit more, into the birth canal a little bit more. So it was helpful. It helped relieve a lot of the pain for me, and yeah, I was cool with that. As y'all saw, I had I was in the shower in the hospital as well. I also walked around the halls. Y'all know you cannot eat colored foods. You can only have like popsicles and stuff like that. So I did all of that. It was, yeah.
Get that, Kai?
I don't know what time it is at this point. It was dark outside.
Some snuffle can do.
I was a mess. I was crying. I don't know why I was crying. I couldn't control the tears. They had pulled out the squat bar and all of that stuff.
You can bow down. You can actually do a job right now.
How long did she say she wanted to stay in operation?
I'm okay. It's not like I'm hurting. It's just like they help her grind.
So, like I was saying right here, at this point, I had no control over my body, y'all. I was having shakes. I was crying. And it's not even like the pain at this point was just so bad that I couldn't handle it. Like, honestly, I was still okay. On a scale of 1 to 10, my labor pains personally never got to a 10. I remember right before giving birth, my mom asked me, she was like, on a scale of 1 to 10. I was like, I'm like at a 9 right now. So, I mean, don't get me wrong, a 9 sucks. But I remember specifically saying I'm at a 9 because, you know, you can't remember what the pain feels like when it's over with. So I remember telling her, I'm like, I'm at a 9. I'm not at a 10. I'm still okay. At this point, I remember I was not even at a 9. At this point, I might have been at like a 6. And I felt like at this point, I was going through transition. So in the birthing process, for those of you who do not know, you have 3 stages of labor: early labor, transition, and then the actual like delivery. Transition happens when you go from 6 centimeters to like 7 centimeters, I think, or 7 to 8 or something like that. It's like right there in the last couple of centimeters. That's transition. That is considered to be the worst part of the labor process. That's considered to be the most painful part, and that's when your body starts doing stuff that you can't even you don't even know. Okay, so before I continue with the video, I'm gonna tell y'all about my up into my transition. So when we got there, I had my daytime nurses, and at maybe about, they changed shifts at 7. So at about 6, oh wait, okay, wait. So at about 6, my doctor and the nurse that had been with me the whole day had came in, and they were like, okay, let me see. They came in and they were like, all right, you're still at 7 centimeters. Mind you, I told y'all when I came to the hospital, I was at 6 centimeters. So it's now, and that was, you know, I was admitted into the actual room at 9 a.m. It's 6 p.m. and I had only dilated 1 centimeter. From 9 a.m. to 6 p.m., I had only moved 1 centimeter. Okay? So they were like, listen, your labor is moving very, very slowly right now. So how about we give you some Pitocin to kind of speed up your labor? And I told her, I was just like, I don't want to use Pitocin because I watched a lot of birth stories, y'all. I went down the whole wormhole of YouTube. And so I was like, from what I have seen and what I understand about Pitocin is that it intensifies the contractions and the pain. And I do not want to start augmenting my labor. That's what it's called, augmenting. I don't want to start augmenting my labor because when you do that, it increases the chances of you ending in epidural or C-section. And I don't want either one of those. So I want to continue to just trust my body and let my body do what it's going to do. My doctor, my daytime doctor, was completely supportive of that. She was like, but your contractions are beginning to slow down. So I need you. I was like, but I've been in labor. At this point, I've been in labor for 3 days. I know what to do in order to increase my contractions. So the positions that helped to increase my contractions were, okay, I'm gonna slide the chair back a little bit. If I laid at all on my left side, for some reason when I was on my left side, the contractions intensified. So I tried to stay off of my left side because that's when the pain got a lot heavier. Also, I got over the, can y'all see? I need to turn the other way. Hold on. Okay. So this is the top of the bed right here, right? And so I would hang over the top of the bed in like a full deep squat like that. Those were 2 positions that helped to increase my contractions and increase the intensity of my contractions. So when she told me that my labor was slowing down and that they needed to do something to pick it up, I was like, well, let me do these type of things in order to push my labor along so that I don't have to get any kind of Pitocin, because I was very, very fearful of if I got Pitocin, that would end up making me you know, just go completely against my birth plan, and I just didn't want to. Okay, so let me think. I'm trying to think what else. Oh, and another thing. This is just something funny that happened in the room. So as y'all can hear in the video, I had music playing. I told y'all I had like a playlist, and my playlist was crazy. I went from like hard metal rock to trap music to gospel music to R&B. Like my playlist was all over the place. And so there was I was in the trap section of my playlist, right? I was in the trap section of my playlist, and it was loud. I wanted it loud. I didn't want to hear nothing. And the nurse came in, and the two nurses came into my room, and they were talking. I don't know what they were talking about. I wasn't paying them any attention. I was in my zone. And my mom turned down my music. And I was like, why are you touching my music? And my mom was like, oh, well, they were talking, so I just didn't want to, I wanted them to be able to hear it. I was like, Mama, turn my music back up. And the nurse got my mama together a little bit. My mama was like, we have to make sure that my mom was like, she's doing this naturally, and so she's going to be doing things that are kind of against what we normally do, and I'm okay with that, because she needs to do whatever she needs to do in order to get this baby out in a healthy way. So if you cannot support that fully, there is a waiting room that you are more than welcome to wait in. And my mom was just like, and sat there and didn't say nothing else. And if y'all, it was just so funny. We laugh about it now because my mom is a type, like the nurse got my mama told in a really nicey way, and my mom is the queen of nicety. So it was just a funny little moment that happened in the labor room that it was just funny to me. Okay, I'm gonna read these comments real quick. That's labor for you. Lucky you got to film this whole process. Yep. And Mila said, my boo filmed the delivery part on the low. They didn't allow filming at the hospital, but it took me almost a month to watch it because everything was too fresh. Yeah, it took me a while to edit this too because it was too fresh, and they didn't allow filming for the labor. We did take we could take pictures, so I have pictures of the actual delivery, but we couldn't do filming either. So I went into the hospital and was admitted at 4 a.m. I was 7 centimeters, no drugs, no epidural, and gave birth at 5:42 to my little guy. It was so painful and fast. And then I've also heard that like the faster it is, the more painful it is, just because like it just happens so quickly. My friend who I was telling y'all about earlier, her entire labor was 2 hours. Her midwife, she was doing a home labor. Her midwife didn't even have time to come there. She had it was her and her best friend were the only two people there and gave birth to her baby. I stayed home for as long as I could, a little crying, and all because of the nurse in me. I refused to be sent back home. And being sent back home just destroys your whole, it hurts your whole heart. The doctor, after checking me at 7 centimeters, joked around like, wait, was you trying to have this baby at home? He says, yep, it sure does. You were very educated on the matter. Pitocin is a no-go for me. Thank you. And I did. I watched a lot of birth vlogs. I went to all of the birth classes. I really wanted to go in as fully educated as I could. I was very detailed, and I did it with my doula. We were very detailed in my birth plan, and I understood that even though you have a birth plan, things don't necessarily go according to plan, and you have to be okay with that. And I was okay with that, but I wanted to do things on my terms, and I can definitely say that giving birth to my baby, I did it how I wanted to do it. Even when the doctors tried to pressure me, which we'll talk about in a minute. I didn't budge about a lot of stuff. I did things how I wanted to do it. Mila said that's the position, the left side they put me in with the peanut ball in between my legs, and that literally pushed me from almost fully dilated to 10 centimeters, pushed me to ready to give birth. yeah, I don't know, it's something about that left side. I thought that was very interesting. I remember that. And said the nurse told your mama, ooh, yes, my mama, she did. And it was so funny. It was so funny because my mom was just like, okay. Like, it was funny. Okay, so before I show y'all this part, so at this point, it is like, I think 2 a.m. The night shift came in at like 7. So that is where I started to get upset during my labor process. And I'm going to tell you why. You're in the military hospital. It's not like when you are a civilian and you have Mr. Smith is your OBGYN and you've built a relationship with Mr. Smith, and Mr. Smith knows everything about you, knows your history and knows all of this kind of stuff, and knows your birth plan and is trying to go along with it and is with you through the whole process. In the military hospital, you have the doctor that you have the nurse that you have, whoever's on duty is on duty at that time. At all of my prenatal appointments, I had different doctors. Like, you get what I'm saying? So you never have a chance to really build a relationship with one doctor or one team, which is why for me having a doula was so important. So my nighttime crew, it was like it's like they didn't want to be at work. It's like they were upset that they had to work overnight or something. The attitude from my daytime nurses and doctors to my nighttime nurses and doctors was like completely 180. My daytime nurses and doctors were very supportive. They were very nice. They were very helpful. All of this. My nighttime were assholes. Sorry, that's what they were. My nurses were not assisting me. The doctor was very just rude. And I mean, I understand blunt, but like there's a difference between being blunt and being rude. You get what I'm saying? So I had, at this point, I had started to get aggravated because, okay, again, I've been in labor all day and now I don't like your freaking attitude. And I don't need people that I don't like your attitude in my space. So let's say it might have been around like 11 o'clock, right? And they had checked me. So the nurses switched at 7. And they checked me when they switched, and I was still like 7 centimeters, 7.5 or so, dilated. And the doctor came in, and this new doctor was like, so we want to put you on Pitocin. So what's up? And I'm like, I don't want to be put on Pitocin. That's not what I'm trying to do. Whatever. And so I was like, bottom line is, y'all are telling me that I can't get any more of the IV medication. Y'all want to put me on Pitocin. Pitocin's going to increase how my contractions are hitting. I'm trying to maintain, no, I don't want to be put on Pitocin. And so that my nighttime doctor was very pushy. She was super pushy, and she, like I said, she was rude. And so I kept telling her no. And so then she left, and me and my support team, my family and my doula, we were talking about it and we were discussing it. And then she came back in. And when she came back in with a little bit more of a softer attitude. Just a little bit. And she was like, what is your fear? What is your issue with Pitocin? And so I let her know again, once you start augmenting labor, it increases the chance of your labor ending in a C-section. Therefore, I don't want to start augmenting labor if I don't have to. She was like, okay, how about we start you on a very small dosage of Pitocin, and we give you a half dosage of the IV medication so that you can handle the pain. I was like, okay, that sounds like a compromise that I'm okay with. Because again, I understood that you can't necessarily do everything how you want to do it during your birth plan, and I get that, but you're not going to bully me into doing this because this is just what you want me to do. You just want me to have the baby right now. No, I'm still going to do it on my own terms. And I was fearful of, again, the contractions starting to hit to a point where I couldn't handle them anymore. I've been in labor for 3 days. I'm tired. Like, I can't. And so they gave me a half dose of the IV medications, and they gave me the lowest dosage that they could of the Pitocin. So I think the highest Pitocin dosage that they can give was, I think, 14. So they started me on a 2. And every 30 minutes, they increased it by 2. So they kept coming in every 30 minutes, and they would increase it by 2. When they got me to dosage 6, I was like, whoa. They came in to increase it again. I was like, whoa, give me a minute. Give me a minute. Don't touch it. Give me a minute. So I was very vocal in how they, administered the medication to me. I was very vocal. And I understand that could have caused them to become aggravated with me, but I didn't give a damn. I'm going to give birth how I need to give birth so I can get through this the best way for me. So by this point, they had checked me. I was, like I said, I still maybe was like 7.5. And but I was feeling this intense feeling of needing to push. And it had maybe been like an hour since they had checked me. I'm like, I'm pushing. They were like, you're not ready to push. I said, well, I'm letting you know right now, I'm pushing. My body is pushing something. I feel like I'm pushing, and I can't stop it, and it hurts. And then I'm like, can y'all check me? And the nurses was like, no, the doctor just checked you. You're fine. You're not ready to push. You're not ready to push. And I'm like, well, I'm telling you that I physically can't control it. I feel myself pushing. Y'all, I was boo-booing on myself. It is what it is. So, okay, I'm going to tell y'all exactly. I remember exactly how I was. Hold on. Let me turn my fan on. I got hot. Okay. So, y'all saw how the bed was, how it was in the squat position. So, I had them take the bar off by this point. I was like, move this bar. It's in the way. And so, I'm on the bottom of the bed. And I was leaned over. Shoot, this way. I was leaned over the bed like this, right? And I'm like, I had my head on the actual bed, and I'm just like, I can't help it. I'm pushing something. They were like, the nurse was literally sitting over there on the computer. She didn't even look at me. She was just on the computer doing whatever, and she was just like, you're fine. The doctor just checked you. Nothing's going on. And I'm like, well, I'm pushing something, y'all. I done pooped just in this position, just like this. My husband is the one that came over there and wiped and cleaned me up. I love that man. He will never let me live that down. I don't even care. But that had pissed me off, because I feel like if you're my nurse, you're supposed to be there to help me. And if I'm telling you that I can't control this, you should have been over there like, okay, well, you're like, I was, y'all seen how calm I was in the video. I was like, like I was hurting. It hurt so bad, y'all. It hurt to poop during labor, dang near as much as it hurt to give birth to the kid. Okay, so that was maybe like around like 11. Yeah, that was maybe like 11, before 11 o'clock or before midnight sometime. Because the nurse that I had at that point, they changed nurses again. I had another set of nurses. Now, that next set of nurses were really, really nice. That was the set that took me through to actual delivery. But that nurse from like 7 to 11, I ain't like her at all. I felt like she just left me out there. To deal with whatever by myself, and I didn't appreciate it. And okay, let me think. What else? So they gave me the Pitocin. After about an hour or whatever, then they started increasing it again. I never got to the full dose of Pitocin. I think I got If 14 was the full dose, I think I maybe have got to like 10 or 12. I was close to the full dose, but I never got to the full dose of Pitocin. I pooped myself. Yeah, so now here we are in the video.
No, and what? The last 220. You got mama over here losing her mind.
In the most difficult position.
Yeah. All the grandparents.
I'm tired. I'm tired.
Yep. Daddy doing what daddy do best.
That's right, taking a nap.
God, I'm so thankful that you're coming on the 23rd. You did what you were supposed to. We love you. We are so proud of you. I'm so proud of your mom. She's a trooper. So you can come out and give her a kiss. Say that again.
So this is what I was talking about, how I was like laid over the bed in the most random position at this point. Yeah.
All of that. Tell me how you really feel, baby.
Shut up. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna remove that because that's the actual labor. I'm not gonna show y'all the pictures of the actual labor. But yeah, that was actual labor. So the second half of the nurses was super, super nice. I pooped again, but at least this set of nurses, they got me a bedpan. They had me comfortable. I was like, thank you. I appreciate it. Then it came time to actually give birth or whatever. So it was in my birth plan that I wanted to have the mirror because I wanted to see. And I also said that I wanted to touch my baby's head. I never ended up touching his head because once I saw it, I was over it. So the doctor comes in and she's putting everything on. And these were her words, y'all. These were her words. She said, I don't push for longer than 20 minutes. She said, I don't push for longer than an hour. If it takes you longer than an hour to push this baby out, we're going to move into a C-section. That's what she said to me. Now, by this time, I was 10 centimeters dilated, but I was only 90% effaced. So when they told me to start pushing, the doctor literally was taking her finger and was scrubbing the last little bit of my cervix and pushing against it. So as I pushed, she was pushing my cervix to help the baby come through. Y'all, I don't know what I was thinking mentally. I remember this vividly because I was sitting there, right? And when it went from me going through contractions to me pushing, I was like, wow, this pain just changed. I don't know. Like I had mentally prepared myself for weeks on the pain of contraction and completely forgot about the pain of actually pushing the kid out. I don't know how that worked, but yeah, it was like completely like two different things, two different pains, two different feelings. And that second, the push out pain, I had not been mentally preparing myself for. So I was like, whoa, that's different. The ring of fire is real, okay? And then on top of that, to be dealing with the ring of fire and the doctor literally pushing on your cervix, yeah, y'all, it was not pleasant at all. I remember looking in the mirror. So, I'm pushing, and then they were like, okay, look. So I saw him crowning. And once I saw him crowning, I didn't want to look down anymore because it was like distracting. And I think I only pushed for about 4 or 5 contractions, and then he came out. So it wasn't long. I know I didn't push for even like 20 minutes. Like, it was not long at all of me actually pushing him out. I had 2 tears. I had I want to say it was a 3rd degree tear on the back, and then like a tiny tear near my urethra. When he came out, the umbilical cord was wrapped around his neck once, but the doctor unwrapped him really quickly, and he came out with his eyes open, looking around, being nosy, like being nosy, honey, like he is now. He had the sweetest little cry, and it was just like completely surreal. It was like an instant relief. And that's all I remember from that. I would show y'all the rest, but I was watching the video the other day and I realized that my whole boob is in the video, so I'm not going to show that. I will show you these pictures though really quickly. Keep my hand on the pause. So he was born at 3:57 a.m. All right. I'm going to move that because, again, I didn't realize it when I was filming it, but my whole boob is in that whole little piece right there. And then I found it funny. Hold on, let me past my boob. Okay. Then, like, if y'all see this part of the video here, like all the family, all the grandparents are over there cheesing and taking pictures and stuff. While all of that is happening, I'm sitting here and they are stitching me up. And no one tells you that the afterbirth, how terrible afterbirth is. Honestly, afterbirth was worse than delivery for me. The point of them delivering the placenta and stitching me up hurt worse than the actual delivery. I guess I didn't numb all the way because they're supposed to numb you. I wasn't numb. I felt that needle. Okay. That sucked. Them pushing on your stomach to get everything out and you're so sore. That sucks. That sucks. Meanwhile, like, you're trying to hold the baby. The baby's like, you know, trying to get to your boob, doing the little belly crawl to try to get to your boob. So you're trying to breastfeed the baby. You're taking pictures. They're stitching you up like some cloth. Like, it's a lot. It's a lot. Okay. Yeah, it was a lot. But he came out. He was healthy. Everything was fine with him. They did have to monitor his blood sugar because he was considered to be low weight for his age, because by the time that he was delivered, I was exactly 41 weeks pregnant. But other than that, it was still fine. I mean, we're little people, so me and his dad are smaller type people. So, you know, I expect that much. So now at this point we are out of labor and delivery and we are in mother-baby unit. I'm trying to make sure that was it. Was that all the main points of actual like delivery? I think that's everything for actual labor and delivery. It definitely what's the craziest thing is that as crazy as the experience was, it's amazing and it's grace that God removes the whole feeling of pain. You don't remember any of it. You can remember the thoughts that you had, but you don't remember the actual pain. And just one more thing, and then we'll go into this last little piece, and then I'm gonna close this live out. The feeling of contractions for people, because you always hear people say, oh, it's intense and intense. Think about, and it wraps around your whole midsection. So that's how, when you can feel the contractions coming, they start from the back And it's like tight, squeeze. Release. That's the best way that I can describe the pain of contractions. Think of the worst period cramp that you've ever had, multiply it, and that is the height of your contraction. So the pain that pain that you feel is like you feel that pain coming, you feel it, and then you feeling it release. And the back pain is horrible. Was horrible for me. Everybody doesn't have that, but for me it was horrible. I'm just letting you know. Let me read some of these comments real quick, and then we're gonna close this out. Mia said they could leave. They could have left. I was done with them. Mia said you were your best advocate, so you did the right thing being vocal on your care. Yes, and a lot of times that's, in my personal opinion, I feel like that's why the mortality rate for Black women is so high in childbirth, because we are not always educated on it, and they don't take us seriously when we're advocating for ourselves. That's why I think that it's important to have a doula in there to also help be your advocate, and it's important to have a very strong support team to be there so that things can go how you need them to go. Lisa said, so I'm so glad I had a home birth. I can't deal with these rude nurses, man. Okay. Cliff said she had him out super quick and he was mugging. Yeah. She did though. She did. Mila said they numbed me for stitches, but it was uncomfortable. It was more than uncomfortable. I felt the needle. I wish I was numbed. Mila said, I can't say afterbirth was worse than labor for me because, woo, that was painful, but it was uncomfortable for me. Okay. And that's one thing too, though. Everybody's is different. Delivery versus afterbirth. I feel like people don't talk enough about afterbirth. People don't speak enough truth about afterbirth. And one more thing that I did not know happened during delivery. Things that people didn't know about delivery or don't talk about during delivery that I knew nothing about was how your body goes through the shakes and the shivers, and you can't control it. I was hot, I was cold, like I was burning up hot, but then when I would take everything off of me, then I was freezing cold and I was shaking. So that's not true for everybody. But the closer I got to actually delivering the baby, the more the shakes came. And I think they say that's hormones, so it's completely normal. But no, I didn't hear anyone talk about that, so I wanted to make sure I said something about that. Mia said, if I could skip the whole labor and delivery part of having baby number 2 in the future, sign me up. LOL. You just brought back all the feels from April 30th, 2018 when I had my son. And that's why I like watching people's birth stories, because it's an experience. Number one, it's the closest you ever get to death. And it's an experience that is horrifying, it's scary, it's beautiful, it's painful, it's great. It's all of these completely contrasting emotions at the same time, which is crazy. And yes, Boxing D Killer, thank God for women, because y'all could never.
I wrote here.
Look at my poop. We were so tiny.
1:40 almost in the morning.
For some reason, he just don't like to be sleeping late.
He's in the barn. That's what happens. He's content though. He already ate about an hour ago. So he's just chilling. Daddy's been resting so he could take the night shift tonight.
Oh, you was your little.
How you feeling, Daddy?
Daddy's good. Daddy feels accomplished.
Okay. I'm gonna stop it. I'm gonna mute it there, and I'm just gonna give some of my final thoughts about this. So the first night in labor and delivery, when we first had him, He was crying, y'all. He was crying. I was sleeping. So Cliff decided that he was going to try to like help me get some sleep, right? But in the hospital, they have rules that the baby has to be in the little rolling bassinet. But Cliff had him. He was trying to rock him and walk him around the hospital. They shut the whole hospital down, honey. They thought he was trying to steal him. Cliff got in so, like, they done called the MPs. Like, he was finna get in trouble because he was trying to, like, soothe him. But that ain't how it worked. So, you know, you have to keep him in that little rolling bassinet. We stayed in labor and delivery for 2-3 days. That's my mom and my sister over there. We had brought our little blow up mattress. They stayed with me the whole time while we were in the hospital. My sister had to go to work, but my mom stayed the entire time while we were in the hospital. Again, everything was fine. Overall, postpartum was not bad for me. By this point, which is day 2, I had started pumping, as you can see. That was my first time ever pumping, so I had got a little bit of milk. My milk had came in. I wasn't with colostrum anymore. So essentially, that was my birth story. Thank y'all for joining me talking about my birth story, because it was definitely it's definitely therapeutic to talk about. It's definitely fun to talk about. I enjoy hearing other women's birth stories. So if anyone would like to drop some more of that, like Mila has been telling us about her birth story, girl, first of all, you having a birth that fast, I salute you. So if anyone wants to drop in some things from their birth stories, I would love to talk about it. Again, I have only been a mother for 8 months now, but I'm going to talk about some of the things that I have learned about myself in these 8 months. Look at my poo-poo. The first thing is that our parents ain't know what the hell they were doing with us. So I have to give them some grace, y'all. Don't get me wrong. You know, every parent, my mom was great. I love my mom, but me and her butted heads about a lot of things, and I am trying to be more understanding that at the end of the day, she was just doing the best that she could with her understanding, just like I'm doing the best that I can with my understanding when it comes to the boy and navigating life. And every generation, every child is completely different, and how you parent is going to change and evolve based on the world that you're living in and the experiences that you're having. So, you know, grace is the first thing. And I think it took me becoming a mom to realize that, you know what, my mom wasn't always a mom before she had me. She is a full and individual woman, and she had a whole life before me, and she has, you know, she's a whole human. And it's hard to reconcile those thoughts. It was like, you know that, but it's hard to reconcile those thoughts before having a kid, because like I am a full individual without Cairo. But like, you know, he is always just going to see me as mama, not seeing Brittany, not seeing B, not seeing the businesswoman, not seeing the femininity of who I am, not understanding, not seeing the turn up me from South Carolina State, not seeing the dance girl me, not seeing you get what I'm saying? He's never gonna, he doesn't see all of those aspects. He just sees mom. And so I think we idolize and deify our parents in a way that's unfair to them. And I don't know how you change that. I don't think you can really change that for your child until they get older. But having the kid has definitely made me realize more that I have to give my mom grace, because she's just human, you know, she's just human. Mila says, yes, being a mom completely changes how you view motherhood. Yeah, and then like I remember I was so like cocky in the thought of I know how to take care of babies. I've been taking care of babies my whole life, and while that's true, I've always been the big cousin, or I've always been the oldest female cousin, so I'm babysitting 4 and 5 kids at a time. But it's a completely different thing when you babysitting them kids for 3 hours and then they go to their mama house, or like my nieces. I remember my oldest niece, man, that was my baby. Y'all couldn't tell me nothing about my oldest niece, because I remember I was it was the summer going into my junior year of high school, and I stayed with my sister for the summer up until band camp, and that was my baby. Anything that needed to be done for that baby, all my sister had to do was tell me to do it. Like I did everything. But guess what? At the end of the summer, I left and went back to my house, and my sister has had to continue to raise that baby, and now she's a high schooler, and my sister's had to raise her every single day by herself and her sister. And so it just puts things to a whole new perspective that I just didn't understand. The fact that when I'm tired, it doesn't matter. If I'm sick, it doesn't matter. If I just don't. I have a mood. Hell, my baby has moods. You know what I'm saying? Like, but you still have to like be there and be the best version of you that you can be for him, or for your kid. And then having him has made me like I said, I've always been ambitious. I've always been motivated, but something about having him makes me want to create something that is bigger than me. It makes me want to grind and create a legacy for my child that he can even pass on to his children. And that is, to me, the blessing of motherhood and the blessing of parenthood that you cannot explain to people who aren't parents, because you just can't fathom it. You can't fathom the type of love before being a parent. You just can't fathom the type of love that I think of you before I even, like, as much as I love my husband, it was never like I think of Cairo before I think of anything for me. Always. You know what I'm saying? And it definitely changes look at my poo. It definitely changes your perspective on life as a whole. So let me read your comments. Mila says, my son came through and put me in check when I first had him. LOL. I had so much to learn and still do now that he's 2. And it's funny because you never stop learning. My mom and me, we're still learning how to navigate our relationship now. I'm 30 years old damn near, and you can't, like, she's still a parent. She still parents in a way. You know what I'm saying? And it's not going to be the way that you parent when I was 13. You know what I'm saying? You still are trying to lead and guide your child for life, forever. And that type of stuff, man, the fact that when you're parenting, and I don't think people take it as seriously as they should. When you decide to become a parent, it's my opinion that you should really be thinking, you should really be focusing on the fact that you are trying to mold a functioning, well-adjusted, decent human being into the world. That should be the goal. Now, that ain't the goal for everybody, but that's my goal. I want to raise a functioning human being. Functioning, well-behaved, decent human being into this world. And And it's the little things that you do as their children, not, you know, when they're babies, not just when they're like 10 and 11, but when they're 2. The little things that you instill in them, the values that you try to instill in them, they start as soon as you give birth to them. And it's a big thing to carry. It's a big burden to carry, but it's one that I enjoy carrying. It's a big cross to bear, but it's a cross that I carry happily, because I wouldn't change this little baby for the world. I would not. One more thing that I did want to be very truthful about, because I don't think that people are truthful enough about it. Y'all hear me doting over my son. Y'all hear me saying how much I love him, and all of these things are true. But I had this misconception that, because this is what, when I watched birth stories, this is what I heard. I heard that, like, as soon as you give birth to your child, that you're filled with this overwhelming sense of love for your child. This overwhelming sense that I would do anything for you. I would die for you right now for your child. And I'm going to be honest with y'all, that ain't my testimony. I didn't feel that initially. And it sucks to say, it's really sad to say. It's not sad to say, I'm going to rephrase that. It's odd to say, because you don't hear that often, especially from women. A lot of women are always like, as soon as I had my baby, like, it was just like this unexplainable love, and automatically. And I didn't have that feeling. Of course, I loved him. I did. I loved him. But the way that I can say that I love this kid now is not the way that I felt in the first even 2 weeks of his life. It maybe took me about 2 weeks to a month to truly feel that sense of undying love for my baby that I expected to feel like instantaneously. And so I'm saying that to say that it's okay, that is normal, that there's nothing wrong with that, and that sometimes, because when people would ask me if I felt that, I would say, yeah, I felt that, even though deep down I didn't. So it's okay to say, honestly, you know, no, I love my kid, yeah, but like, I don't feel that feeling yet, because I just didn't feel that particular feeling yet. That, and I don't say unconditional love, because it's still not unconditional love. I think we say unconditional love and don't understand what unconditional love is, because the fact of the matter is, the condition is that this is your child. That is still the condition. You get what I'm saying? So you feel as close, you feel agape love, you feel as close to love as you can, but it's not or is agape love unconditional love? I have to look that up. But it's not unconditional love, because the condition is the fact that this is your child. The only person that feels unconditional love is God, period. But I always hate when people say, oh, you have this unconditional love. No, like, the condition is, this is my kid. That's why I love him the way that I do, because I birthed him. That was the condition, you know. Let me read your comments. Mila said, motherhood is a blessing. I definitely want a second and maybe third baby in the near future. Well, I am praying for healthy pregnancies and deliveries and all of that for you, for however many kids you have and you decide to have. Means I was confused post-birth when they laid him on my chest, so I understand what you're saying. I was more concerned if he was okay, constantly patting his back, LOL. But it didn't settle in that I was a mom and he was my love bug for life until much later. Exactly. And then I also want to know, for like Mila, you and anyone else here who is a parent and has been a parent, you know, for longer than 8 months. When do you stop looking at your kid and being like, damn, I'm a parent. Dang, like, I'm a mom. Like, I'm still in shock and in awe that I have a whole kid. So when does that feeling go away? I asked my mom that. She said, it didn't go away until you started school. And that's 5 years. That's 4 or 5 years. Like, that's a long time for me to still just be looking at that kid in shock, like, dang, you belong to me. Dang. Like, I do. Y'all drop down in the comments. Tell me, when does that feeling of just like, wow, I am a parent. Wow. When does that go away? Mila says never. Not never. Not never. I need that because I'm telling you, I'll sit there, y'all. I'm such a creep. I'm such a creep. I sit there, you know, he has like his baby monitor, it's a video or whatever. I'll sit there and just look at him sleeping and be like, wow. Wow, like you are my kid. Wow. As he grows up and goes through different milestones, you go through it. When they then started crawling, then walking, then talking. Right. Wow. And I'm such a big old baby. I've never been this emotional. I used to be a G. I used to be gangster. I really did. But now I am such a little softie. Like, again, he's gone right now for the weekend. And I'm just like, I want my baby. I want to kiss on my baby. Although I'm enjoying the break. I'm enjoying having wine in the middle of the day without having to feed the kid. It's still just like, I miss my baby. I miss, where's my poo-poo? Or the fact that he's starting to like, I was gonna say starting to pull up. No, he pulls up. He's starting to like walk on things, you know, like he'll walk on the with the furniture, or he'll walk with his little walker toy and things like that. Those things make me want to cry. They make me want to cry. Like, why are you getting so big so fast? Why are you so smart? Why do you have such a personality? How come I can see some of my ways in you? And let's be clear. Having a kid makes you realize that you ain't all of that. Like, you have flaws. And as much as your kid, we believe that our kid gets the best of us, just like they get the best of us, sometimes they might get the worst of us too. You know what I'm saying? So like, it just makes you very much so self-reflective. Yeah, for sure. Me said babies make you emotional. I was a thug too, not anymore. Not at all. I cry. I just be crying. It's so bad. Lisa says it takes a while. For me, it was when I had the second. Lily was almost 2. Once it's more than one, it's different. But every time I have another baby, I still stare at them in awe for quite a while. Like, I made that. Even on number 3, right? Like, I made that. Wow. And I'm going to close this out shortly. But before I do want to say, my baby is 8 months. I carried him for 10. So that's 18 months. However, I have been a mom for 20 months. And I say this because before being pregnant and having the boy, I was pregnant before and had a miscarriage. And I acknowledge that carrying life in any form makes you a mother. And just because I was not able to carry my first baby to full term, or whatever, that does not diminish that I began my motherhood journey in 2018, and I acknowledge that. And so if anyone is on my live who has suffered from, or I don't want to say suffered from, who has experienced and lived through and risen from a miscarriage, I want to say that, first of all, I'm sending you love, and that does not diminish who you are as a parent or as a mother, and sadly it's more common than we would like to express. and they say about 1 in 3 women have experienced a miscarriage of some sense. So I do want to just send out love to that. And this is something that I want to say. I'm trying to figure out how to say it. I always empathized with women who had a miscarriage, and there was always something in my spirit that told me that would be a testimony that I would have to live through. So, and I know it might sound crazy to say, but even though I had a miscarriage and it was hurtful, and I went and it was emotionally draining and exhausting, it is a testimony that I am happy to speak about, especially because I don't think that we do enough. So, yes, like Lisa says, we always acknowledge and honor all of our angel babies. And Lisa says she's an angel mom of 4 more babies. And so that in itself takes so much strength. And that is, I think that we should be more candid and honest about that. And if I, whenever I speak about motherhood, I always bring up my miscarriage, and I miscarried very early, but I've come to realize that does not diminish the feelings and the struggles that caused, because you go through all of those. So I do hope to use my platform, as big or as small as it may be, to shine a light on that as well. And while we have these motherhood conversations, it's important to always acknowledge our angels that were not able to be here physically. And just me personally, I can't speak for anyone else. I'm speaking for me personally. My miscarriage to me was still Cairo, and this might sound silly, but to me it was still Cairo. I just felt like he just didn't want to come just yet. Like, Cairo has such a little personality of he wants to do what he wants to do, that I acknowledge it in my spirit as he was saying, hey mom, I'm on the way, but wait a minute, I'm not quite ready yet. So that might not be everyone's testimony and how they reconcile their miscarriages, but that's how I reconcile mine. And I want to be honest and transparent about that as well. So again, a very big shout out to all of you who have angel babies and who have experienced a miscarriage or stillbirths or anything of that nature, because that does not diminish your motherhood in any way, shape, or form. Carrying life is a blessing that in my youth I took for granted, because when you're in high school and things like that, and you see people in their teen pregnancies and things, and giving birth at a young age and all those type of things is looked down upon, is kind of shamed. But in any way, carrying life is a blessing that is unexplainable and inexplicable. So I'm going to end it on that. If y'all have anything else that y'all want to say, go ahead and drop it in the chat right now. Before I close this out, I want to give a special shout out to my Patreons. Remember that you can join Patreon for as little as $5 a month. All you have to do is click the link in my bio. You get early access to my videos. You get voting power. When I said that, that I asked what people wanted to see, my Patreons are actually the ones who said that they wanted to see a hair video. So I honor what my Patreons say, and that's why y'all will be getting this hair video hopefully within the next week. And let's see, if you have not seen my last video, what was my last video, which was the conversation on colorism from our last week's live, part 1, make sure that you go check that out, leave a comment and share it with your community so that we can continue the conversation on colorism. And the conversation on futurism will be dropping soon as well, so make sure that you have your notification bell on. If you have not, make sure that you like this video And I think that's it. We're gonna end this a little bit early today because, like I told y'all, my baby ain't here, so I'm gonna go enjoy my adult time. Shout out to my husband, and shout out to the grandparents that took the kid. Oh, and side note, one more thing. People always talk junk because me and my husband call him the boy. We're like the boy, the kid, whatever. Hey, it is what it is. I say it with love. So don't judge me when you hear me say the boy, because I still say it with love, okay? But all right, y'all. Thank you to my beauties. Thank you if you just found me. And I'll see y'all next week for another Finally Be Friday live. Peace.